Dan Moskal here, and this is step 4 in writing your book. And what we are talking about is injecting yourself, personalizing your book, as in telling some personal stories. So, one such example, we are working here on a book about affiliate marketing and how to get started. And one such story would be how we exactly got started, along with some of the strategies that I've used since 2006. One of the big things that we noticed from some of the research is a lot of people are looking for how to get started, and they are also interested in how to get started without paying, an arm and a leg for any business. Most times when it comes to affiliate marketing or setting up a website, you usually buy web hosting, which is about $100, but you can also use Blogger, another content management system. This is the way this website's set up for the cheap. All you have to do is buy a domain name, and we actually mention that along with doing a call to action to check out our other book right here. So rather than people paying $100 for web hosting every year, they can use Blogger instead, especially to get started, and then you can later transfer it into a WordPress website. But Blogger is an easy and a free way, and we'll probably put a reference into a video here by Matt Cutts, the face of Google's search engine optimization. He puts a lot of videos together and does speaking engagements, but he has a video specifically talking about what's better, WordPress or Blogger, when it comes to search engine optimization. We should also include in our book some of the real strategies that we've used, such as YouTube videos and search engine optimization, along with, let me go ahead and just share another. This is a recent book that we just finished up writing here, Email Marketing That Works So You Don't Have to. Now, in this book, especially here in the introduction and the retail sample, this is looking at it on audio or audible.com, but in this retail sample, first we talk to the folks, and please go check this audio sample out, but we talk to them, meaning what's important and what's relevant to them. The most important thing for people that are looking up email marketing, and how to and getting those books is to generate more income. So let's talk to their most important needs, their most important wants. Let's address those. And then also in this audio sample, we briefly mentioned about the national television commercial we ran with DirecTV that aired on ESPN, MTV, Comedy Central, VH1, a whole bunch of cable stations, a whole bunch of times. And our whole call to action was to collect an email address and then follow up with them using email marketing. We did that in 2012. And then we also mentioned the story when I was 12 or 13, I had a brain aneurysm rupture, which left me after surgery. I couldn't talk, I couldn't walk, I couldn't write, I couldn't communicate. I mean, I literally remember my brothers reading Dr. Seuss books to me, and I remember having a pen put in my hand over and over and over again, and it would just trail off into a scribble. And I remember one such incident when I was trying to communicate to my dad. I was sitting in the ICU and I was just trying to tell him that I had to pee, and I couldn't communicate that simple task. It sounds so basic and so obvious. You just point to your crotch, but I couldn't communicate it, and I resolved myself to wetting the bed when I was at 12 or 13 years old. And the reason you need to include these stories is to personalize your book. Make your book relatable. Make people feel like they can understand who you are. They get a little bit better idea. One story I can tell you, and this is one thing that sticks out the most of all the Dan Kennedy books I've read, is Dan Kennedy tells a story in one of his books, or maybe it's an audio book or whatever it may be, about when he so Dan Kennedy had, this is when he was struggling, but he had all of his bank business accounts severely overdrawn and was cut off when he was driving on the freeway, and then retaliated, and this guy followed him off the highway, stopped behind him at a stoplight, and took I believe it was a crowbar or a sledgehammer out and damaged Dan Kennedy's car very dramatically. Um, But you know, these stories are funny, they're entertaining, and any way you cut it, when you're writing a book, it is entertainment. You want to entertain folks. And keep in mind, in this step, we're just really getting our book onto paper, getting all the thoughts, all the ideas out of our head into words, and we're going to go back through. And as we get ready, it's Saturday afternoon, and we're down here in South Carolina with the South Carolina Gamecocks football program. So as we sit down and watch this football game here, in a few minutes, we are going to start outlining and working on refining our outline and how our book's going to totally come together. We typically usually make a few outlines. We usually make an outline before we start. We make an outline and tweak our outline as we're moving along, and this outline is probably going to be pretty much the final outline we create and how we want our book to flow. We got to think about the very first parts, such as the retail sample, and it's essentially your hook, how to hook people and how to sell them on your book. Part of that is establishing expertise. Part of it's talking about, a little bit about yourself and how you got started. Here's a little bit of this audio sample. Aired on ESPN, MTV, A&E, VH1, Comedy Central, and many more cable TV stations. In this commercial, my call to action was to visit a website and sign up for my list. Then I would follow up with these folks using email marketing. I learned a lot over the years, and many times taking the difficult and expensive path. Let me help you to avoid making the same mistakes about human relationships. I have full faith most people do this in 4 years. Additionally, I vividly recall one afternoon in the ICU when I was unable to communicate the simple task of telling my dad I had to pee, and resolved myself to wetting the bed at age 13. Now, you take that for what you want, but my thought is, if this is an audio sample, if people hear somebody talk about how they wet the bed at 13, no matter what the topic is, you've got me a little bit more interested in who you are, your story, and whatever it is you're talking about. Don't wait until page 150 to share yourself. Every single page, every single word, everything you do in a book is to get folks to keep reading your book, to finish reading your book, to read your book all the way through, and to actually use the information, especially if you're talking about email marketing or affiliate marketing or any of these how-to kind of nonfiction business books. You really want people to not just buy your information, but to also consume it and use it. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe and know that if I can help somebody help their business generate additional income, they'll be standing in line happy to part with money to give me for the next product or service I have. You really want to help and genuinely help people. Like, there's no I like the Earl Nightingale, you can't enrich yourself without enriching others, and that's not entirely true, but the only way I want to help myself is by enriching others, and I know that's one surefire way to increase my income and serving other people and giving them what they want. And another thing, this is the very last thing I'm going to mention here, is within your book. So for example, we talked about just setting up your website and getting started. And Dan Kennedy does probably the best job at this of anybody I've seen. But plug your other books, or if you're offering a service, if you have services, plug those services. Give people a chance and let them know about the other things you have. So for example, if you want to avoid $100 in web hosting fees and starting with a WordPress website, which, if you're looking for extra additional income or work from home income, $100 is a pretty sizable amount if you are looking for more money and you're a little bit tight on money. Instead, you can grab a copy of my book or just visit my website and get started with a professional website and a custom domain name for $11 annually. That's something that you don't pay to me, you pay to somebody else. We have ours with GoDaddy web hosting, but the point is, we can plug and mention our other books. If we have services, we can plug and mention those. And if you don't already own one, go buy a copy of Dan Kennedy's books, any one of them, I recommend them all and own the vast majority of them. He is a very intelligent individual. But if you look through his books, especially in the intro is really where you're selling people and you're selling them to read your book and consume your book. You're selling your credibility, you're selling your expertise, you're selling the entertainment factor as well, which is part of the reason why you include personal stories. Every good book I can recall or talk about or that I've read over and over and over and over and over again include a lot of personal stories, a lot of the embarrassing stories, a lot of the humbling stories. And that's a big part because it is relatable. A lot of those things stick out the most in my mind from other people's books, so don't neglect them with your own. And just keep working. Don't stress and don't overthink any of this stuff. Just keep working, keep moving forward, and keep the progression in the right direction. So this is Dan Moskal. Please visit danmoskaluniversity.com. Get some more tips, including some video marketing tips to help build your business using YouTube. You can also sign up for our free newsletter, and we're currently running a promotion to give you a free copy of our most recent book, Email Marketing That Works, so you don't have to. We're going to give that to you for free. All you have to do is visit danmoskaluniversity.com and sign up for our free newsletter, and we will send it on over to you and give you full details about this stuff. And please check out some other videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and get cracking on your book. I know you have a great book inside of you. Really get it out, get it on paper. We're going to go through and refine this in the very near future, and check out some of the other videos we're going to put on this playlist of writing your book, because we're going to go through it all. And we aren't stressing any of the details. We haven't decided on a title yet. We haven't even decided on really our intro yet. We really haven't even decided on the flow. We've kind of outlined a few of the sections and have a general idea, but your book's going to evolve and come together and mold itself, especially if you're working on it for a little, well, any length of time. Your book always evolves, morphs, and finally comes into a coherent piece. You're going to reread it and you're going to go through the drafts many more times than you really want to or need to or should, but it's just part of the process. At least all the books I've written thus far, I have 3 under Dan Moskal, and I've been doing this online thing since 2006, so I have a whole bunch of others under some other pen names, but these 3 have evolved, and that's just the way it works. It kind of comes together as you're doing it. So again, this is Dan Moskal. Please leave any specific questions, comments, or concerns below. Please like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit danmoskaluniversity.com and sign up for our newsletter, and we'll send you a free copy of our most recent book, Email Marketing That Works, so you don't have to. Have a great day and night, and looking forward to talking to you again soon.